Welcome to this module. I'd like to begin by introducing the Intel XDK, which is the tool that I'll use to build this game. The main reason why I want to use this now is because I want to have the capability of emulation so that I can see what the game will look like in different screen resolutions for different phones. The Intel XDK has other capabilities too, such as the ability to test and debug your game on an actual phone that you connect to your computer using a USB cable. And you can also build your game in the cloud so that you can deploy the game as a native application alongside normal native applications in the stores. But we're not going to cover that in this module. So, how do you get started? Let me show you the structure of this project first. It follows a similar approach to what we've used in other games. Ignore all of these Intel XDK files because that's all created when you import it as an XDK project. The game itself is basically an index.html file, which, as you can see, is similar to what we've done in the past. It includes a state and main.js. Then we have main.js, the entry point of the game, and we're including phaser. We also have we'll have one state in this game, state.js. Feel free to use a different folder structure if you prefer. That's not really important at this point, as long as you understand what's happening. Then on the asset side, we'll have audio, we'll have some JSON levels, and we have a bunch of images. You can also look at the images here, which is quite handy. The code editor that you have access to in the Intel XDK is the brackets code editor. So everything that you search online for the brackets code editor, which you can get at brackets.io, but you don't need to get because it's included here. It works in this case. So all of the keyboard, all of the shortcuts, all the configurations that you can use for brackets, you should be able to do them also in the Intel XDK. To import a new existing HTML project or create new projects, you go to Projects, and then you go to Start New Project, and you can import your HTML5 code base and specify where the index.html is created. You can also start from some templates, but I'm not going to be using that. Our main difference with other code editors is that this is project-oriented. For example, in Sublime Text, you just load files and folders. But in here, everything belongs to a single project, and there's just one index.html file that you then look in the run in the emulation. So if you are working with many different folders or different projects at the same time, and you want to have one file open of one project, one of the other project, it can get a bit confusing. But you can do it if that's what you want, because you can just open files. This is just a normal brackets code editor. That's what I want to make an emphasis on. We can have the emulation here in this panel, but then there's also the way that I usually like to work, which is having the emulation on the side. So, and the good thing is that every time that you save, it reloads. So you don't have to manually refresh the page. So if you go to here, you're on develop, and then you go to run my app. Run in emulator will run the file on an emulator, and you can place that in here. Then you can also open the debugging, the console. So you have everything that you need. You have your JavaScript console, you have your emulation, and then we can actually start doing some coding. The Intel XDK is a work in progress. They are adding new features, new versions are released often, and as such, there will be bugs. You might encounter bugs. I don't know, I'm not a developer of this software, and I don't know the kind of operating system that you use or your specific configuration. A lot of the times when you try to load something on the phone or show it, it doesn't necessarily work. So if you run into any issues regarding the Intel XDK, I'm not able to give you support on that aspect. The official place to do that is on their forum. So they have an official forum, and they usually respond very quickly because they're interested in hearing feedback and getting things fixed. So I cannot give support on the specific tool. If you cannot get it to work, my recommendation is and will be try another code editor. Now, what if you try another code editor, and you still want to have the emulation, don't worry, that same emulator that you saw is actually a standalone project. So just like Brackets is a standalone project, also the Ripple emulator is a standalone project, and you can find a Chrome extension for the Ripple emulator. So you can have that same functionality, the exact same emulator, working on your Google Chrome if you find the corresponding extension. So there's no need to panic if for some reason the Intel XDK doesn't work on your end. So to summarize, we have a very basic phaser structure. I haven't explained any of the code, I'll do that on the next video. We have a basic structure that was imported as an existing HTML5 project into the Intel XDK. To download the Intel XDK, just Google and you'll find it right away. I don't know the exact address. What else did we cover? You can look at the emulation either on that panel, or you can have it open at the same time, which is my preferred option. Don't forget to have the console as well, because you still want to do all the JavaScript debugging. So the console is the exact console, same console from Google Chrome. You can do everything here. And it's time now to get started with coding.